Hey everyone, so this is mainly for my students or people that want to train with me. Now it's the end of 1 year, new year is approaching, and I think it's a good time to ask yourself, okay, what has happened this year, what is happening next year? And there's one problem that we always face in our society nowadays, that everyone is facing, is the terror of options. We are terrorized by all the options that we have, by the unclarity, by needing to make decisions about what we're doing. Everyone has this problem. Everyone has this problem. You have so many possibilities, what you can do, and it's so unclear for many people what is priority, what is important, what is not important for you, because also often it's hard to decide because it's not so clear. What is clear is you need to eat, you need to sleep, yeah, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it's not so direct like in our society, no? It's not like, okay, I go into the forest and I hunt, at least not for most people, or I gather berries and so on, but this is a much more complex thing. Like how do I do things? There's so many paths nowadays. So you need to decide, and the decision also comes from the center, it comes from the gut to decide, but then to go and not to be always like, now I saw this, there's this important. That's also very interesting. Like recently a student told me he talked about someone about holistic movement, like doing all sorts of things. And then he was asked, can you, what was it? Let's say slackline, yeah? I'm not sure anymore. I was slackline, but can you do slackline? And I thought, no, I cannot do slackline. So now I should do slackline. Don't let people that come around the corner randomly suddenly change your direction. Of course it can be nice, like can be a nice inspiration. Okay, you meet someone and it's like, oh, this was an enlightenment moment, I need to change something, obviously, but not something like this. Can you slackline? No, I cannot. So I need to do it. This guy asked me if I can slackline, I cannot do it. This is nonsense. This is nonsense because you decide what you're going to do, and don't let people interfere with this. Don't let people interfere with this. Don't let media interfere with this, not the internet and all this stuff, because there's so much information, there's so much stuff that is possible to do, and you are just terrorized by all these options. Yeah, so stick with it. So that's why, I'm very open for people that train with me, that they go somewhere else to practice and to learn. But sometimes I also feel, am I too open? Because sometimes they do something and they're a bit like, yeah, maybe I should implement this also. I should implement this. I said, no. Like it's taste. So go there and see. But for now, stay here. And then after you go there, yeah, because you cannot do everything at the same time. It's impossible. You just end up with shit. Like you end up with nothing. With nothing you end up. And you're terrorized also by the sense of urgency that is all the time in the society. And people ask, can you do this quickly? Or this needs to happen directly, blah, blah, blah. And then the important stuff that is not urgent, yeah, like your strength training or something like this is so important nowadays because there's no strength stimulus. So you have to do it. You have to do it to stay healthy. You have to do your strength and your endurance and blah, blah, blah. But if you are all the time caught up in the urgent stuff, you're not going to do it because it's not urgent to do strength training. It's a long-term process, and all the long-term processes are under heavy attack nowadays of this fucking sense of urgency that is all the time happening, where people are not thinking long-term. Yeah, and long-term means stick with something for a time, do it, like decide how much you want to do it, and then stick to the plan. And obviously there's reasons to not stick to the plan. Is when you're sick or when relatives are sick or something like this, yeah, and you have to take care of them. But if you have a plan, then you should stick with it. But many people don't know how to make a good plan. A plan needs to be very clear, and this is why a training plan is so good. You don't want to decide what you're doing in the training. For most people, it's too much. Yeah, when you end up at the training, it should be already decided. Like when you are on the training mat, it should be already decided what you're doing. Not there, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do next? You're terrorized by your own decision making also. Yeah, you're terrorized by your own decision making. Make the decision before, stick with it, do it, and that's it. Yeah, and this is how you end up somewhere. And then you stay with one source for a while, and you can look at other sources, but you need to have main sources, not everything. You need to explore, and this is how to explore within one thing. And this is what I'm doing also stick with people for a long time. Yeah, I have people where they go to for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, all this stuff, and they go there and I create a very deep relationship, and it's very clear for me that it takes this time. It takes this time to go into things very clearly. Yeah, but often people are like, oh, now I saw a bit this, now I saw a bit that, now I saw a bit that. Yeah, da 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 da. Okay, stick with one source. Go make clear plans. And what is a clear plan? A clear plan means you don't have too many things in there. You don't have too many options. You need to reduce. Yeah, make it clear what is priority and do that, and realize that the urgency is important to do at the moment. But if you just stay with the urgent stuff like answering emails or whatever, pleasing people, yeah, if pleasing people, that's the urgency. Pleasing people, if that's what you're doing all the time, pleasing other people, then you will end up with nothing. Yeah, building things. How do you become the best piano player or a good piano player, whatever? You practice piano every day. Yeah, it's not urgent in that sense to play piano during one day. It's urgent to stay alive. Yeah, but only in 10 years it might pay back if you practice every day. But this has to be the thinking. This has to be the thinking. Long term. And we live in the age of self-responsibility. The age of self-responsibility. You have to decide yourself. You have to stick with it. You have to do things. You have to take care of yourself. Of your health you have to take care. Of your sanity you have to take care. Yeah? And then of what is around you. Okay? Then you take care of the people around you, and so on and so forth. But you have to take care that you stay healthy, because the companies want to sell you sugar stuff, yeah, couches or shitty workouts and whatever. But you have to get out of the couch and do things. Live physical, be outside, stick with it, and fight this terror of options. Decide, and that's it. Go for it, and go for it for some time. Stay with it for some time. Don't always get confused all the time. Let's go.